Welcome back. Today, I want to talk about how my whole experience with having a brain tumor and brain surgery really helped in another area of my life that I was just starting to improve on or to kind of embark on a journey to improve on. And then the brain surgery kind of, I don't want to say got in the way, but it derailed it slightly, but then I got back on track. And this is public speaking. Now, I was probably part of a huge group of people who did not like public speaking. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Like when I was in school and we had to do presentations, if there was anything I could do to get out of that, I would. Can I write a report? Can I, if I was in a group project, it's like I'll do the written part, somebody else do the presentation part. I did not like it, and if I had to do it, I would get so nervous. I would be thinking about it the night before. Well, not just the night before, like pretty much as soon as I got the assignment that I was going to have to do some type of a speech, I would just be panicking. My stomach would be in knots, my hands would get super clammy, just the whole 9 yards. So I really didn't like it. Now, at my job, this was around the end of 2022. So before I got diagnosed with the brain tumor, I was doing this project. It was just me and one other person, and we had to write this big document, and then had to go through all these levels of leadership to get it approved. So we had to do a bunch of presentations. And I knew it from the beginning. I was like, oh my God, we're going to have to present to this group, to that group, to so many people. And it wasn't like I could kind of do part of it and she could do another part. Like we were going to have to do everything together. So there was no getting out of it. And I remember at one point we were briefing the director at work about the document, and I had this super strange thought, and I was just like, I'm not that nervous. Like I wasn't enjoying the process, but I wasn't panicking. So for me that was a pretty big step. So, we wrapped that up, and I was reflecting afterwards, and I was like, if I got to the point where I wasn't terrified, then just maybe I could get to the point where I actually like this. I look forward to speaking in front of people. I'm not freaked out by all eyes on me. So, long story short, I ended up finding out about this organization, Toastmasters, and, looked into it, and I decided to join. This was one of the biggest, like, voluntary adversity type things I had ever done. It was completely out of my comfort zone. And, well, let me backtrack. For those of you who don't know, and this is not like a spokes campaign or marketing for Toastmasters, but it's helped me so much that I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. It's an organization, an international organization that helps people with public speaking. That's like at the core of it. And so there are different clubs, that's what they call them, clubs, all over the place, and you can join, and it'll help you with public speaking. So there are a lot of clubs that are associated with jobs, so some federal agencies, some counties, some, will have their own Toastmasters club where only their employees can attend. But then you have neighborhood clubs where anybody can attend. So I purposely wanted to join one that was not affiliated with my job, because I purposely wanted to make myself as uncomfortable as possible, pretty much. And I knew that if I joined the one that was associated with my job, obviously I would see people I know from work, and that would make it easier to do. I could tell myself, oh, so and so is going to be there tonight, or whenever the meeting is. It's not as bad, or I can just kind of relax a little bit. I didn't want that. I wanted to be uncomfortable. And this was like the first time that I really had those kind of thoughts in terms of self-development, where I wanted to put myself in an uncomfortable situation. Whereas in the past, it's like, no, I don't like that. Let me avoid it at all costs. But for this, I wanted to be uncomfortable because I wanted to see kind of what I'm made of, and if I could, what's the word? If I could just do it, kind of just test myself. So I joined, and one of the best decisions of my life. I actually joined my club in February of 2023, and then the next month I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. So I there were many times where I was gonna quit going to Toastmasters during that time because I didn't think I had enough mental capacity and emotional capacity to do this. Something that I still wasn't comfortable with. I was trying to get comfortable with it, but now on the other hand, I have this health issue that I have to deal with, and so there were many times where I was like, I don't think I can keep going, but I was like, I'll just go to one more meeting and see what happens in one more meeting, and it blossomed. It blossomed so much, and I got really close with some of the members. And then when it got closer to my surgery, I shared it with them, and they were so supportive, and it was beautiful. I've created a family, with this group of people. So basically I had surgery, and then when I came back, my first speech that I did post surgery was, of course, about the experience, because some people knew and some people didn't. So I did a speech about it, and I was so excited, right? I was just like, oh, this is the moment. I had all the nerves, but it was good nerves. And afterwards, I talked to my speech coach who was watching, and he tore it apart. He said, and he knew what the story was about. He was already aware of everything. He was like, your speech or your story is amazing. Your speech is not. I said, excuse me? Initially I was so offended because this story is obviously so personal to me. But when he broke it down in terms of how to write a speech and speech structure and all like that, I was like, this speech is terrible. So I've redone it, and I redid it, and then I, gave the speech again. And, so this isn't about that speech, but it's about how talking about something that you're very passionate about and very knowledgeable about can really help you with public speaking. So it became somewhat therapeutic to talk about my surgery at Toastmasters, because I didn't really have to memorize something. I mean, you kind of have to memorize your speech, but because it happened to me, I wasn't like trying to memorize data and statistics and numbers and all like that. It's like, this is my story, and then of course people have all these questions and they're amazed and all of that. So it's easy to make that transition into public speaking when you have a personal story that, even if you're nervous about sharing, it's going to positively impact others. Because there was one time where I had revised the speech, did it again, and choked up in the middle of the speech, cried, and now it's silence. Everybody's watching me cry, basically. But that moment was very healing. And that's when I really started to become comfortable with being vulnerable in front of people. Because prior to that, I was just like, I can't cry, I can't get emotional. I'm just going to talk about this very personal story in a very matter-of-fact way, So after that time where I cried in front of my group, it was really a turning point for me, and it helped with the healing. It helped with, just public speaking as a whole. So I am currently still a member of Toastmasters. Absolutely love it. I'm actually going to enter the speech contest, the international speech contest this year, and we'll see how far I go. And of course, I'm gonna talk about this story because this is the most interesting story that I have. But I've tweaked it. I'm doing this speech from a very different approach than I did my previous speeches. And maybe at some point I'll post it on here, like after I do the speech in the contest. I might post it here on YouTube, but we'll see about that. Anyway, so yeah, having this brain surgery has helped me so much with the speaking, and now I'm really on this journey to become a better speaker. And I told myself, any kind of opportunities that come up for me to speak in front of people, I am going to take, whether it's at work, whether it's, somewhere else. And it's crazy because when I said that, like a week later, this lady at work hit me up and asked about if I wanted to participate in this. And initially it was like my fingers just knew to type, hell no, take me off this list. But then I remembered, I'm like, oh crap, I made this promise to myself that I'm gonna, accept these different opportunities, or whatever comes my way, I'm gonna accept it because I want to get better. So I had to stay true to the promise that I made for myself. And yeah, I did that. And I've done many opportunities at work. And I'm very excited about this growth journey because it's difficult. To this day, it's still difficult. I'm not, like, going through the experience with the brain surgery didn't automatically change me into this, speaker, and I'm not nervous, and all of a sudden it's like, well, I survived brain surgery, so of course I can get in front of a group of people and talk. Like, it didn't change it overnight, but it did make it a lot easier to get up in front of people. Like, I still have some, reactions. I still get the butterflies and everything, but now it's more from an excited place, and I'm learning how to manage those butterflies instead of letting them just completely take over me. So it's been an amazing journey so far. I'm pretty much 2 years into getting better at public speaking and consciously, putting energy into it. And I can't wait to see what comes up for me. And I have no idea what it's going to be, but I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that I was able to turn this really difficult situation with the brain tumor and the surgery into something so positive and so helpful in this journey of life. So that's all about how I connected my brain surgery with public speaking.